No one expected it, but it happened. Piastri just took the top spot at the Spanish Grand Prix. And to make things even bigger, McLaren didn't just win, they secured both first and second places. That's right, a clean sweep in Barcelona. On the outside, it looked like a perfect weekend, maybe even the best of the season. But if you peel back the curtain, the tension is starting to show. Oscar Piastri is now ahead in the championship standings by 10 points, and the person right behind him? His own teammate, Lando Norris. The fight for the title isn't between teams anymore. It's within one garage. No team instructions, no backup plans, just raw competition. And now Nico Rosberg, someone who's seen this story unfold before, is sounding the alarm. He isn't the only one concerned. When McLaren boss Zak Brown was asked about it, he didn't dismiss the idea. In fact, he agreed that it's just a matter of time before things get complicated. That's not exactly reassuring. Because if Formula One has taught fans anything over the years, it's this. When two talented teammates start fighting for the same goal, trouble isn't far behind. Just look at history. Mercedes saw it with Hamilton and Rosberg. Red Bull dealt with it between Vettel and Webber. Now it's McLaren's turn. They're walking into that same trap. And worse, this team may not be ready for what's coming next. Back in Barcelona, the surface looked smooth. Everything seemed to be running like clockwork. But small signs were there. After the race, in the cool-down room, Norris didn't look pleased. There was barely any interaction with Piastri. The tension was there, quiet, but very real. Team radio during the race added more fuel to the fire. Some of the messages hinted at unease between the drivers, and sources close to the team say the post-race debrief was one of the most intense McLaren has had all year. This isn't just about who wins a race anymore. This is about who leaves their mark in the sport. For Lando Norris, this season is personal. He's stuck with McLaren through the tough years, finishing in the midfield, watching his peers, like George Russell and Charles Leclerc, fight for wins while he waited. Now the car is finally competitive, and he's not willing to step aside. This is his chance, and he knows it. But Oscar Piastri isn't treating this as a learning year either. He's not acting like the new guy anymore. He's in front on points, he's won more races, and he's driving like someone who's got no interest in playing second fiddle. He sees Norris not as a senior or mentor, just another obstacle, and that's where things start to boil. McLaren made a decision this year. Let the drivers race. No team orders, no assigned leader. While fans love the honesty of that approach, it also leaves the door wide open for problems. Nico Rosberg, who went through a very similar battle with Lewis Hamilton, has been open with his concerns. He told Sky Sports F1 that when a team starts winning, maintaining peace becomes harder. The similarities are clear. Just like him and Hamilton, Norris and Piastri are now racing each weekend not just for podiums, but for something bigger, the title itself. Rosberg and Hamilton began as close friends. But by 2016, things were so bad they couldn't even make eye contact. The garage was literally split in two. Engineers, data, mechanics, all divided. McLaren, if not careful, could head down that exact same road. What makes this even more dangerous for McLaren is how close the numbers are. Piastri stands at 186 points. Norris is right behind at 176, just 10 points between them. That's nothing in Formula One. One race result, one poor pit stop, or even a mechanical issue could flip the standings instantly. As each weekend passes, the pressure rises. Every lap counts, every strategy decision could shift the balance. The room for compromise is shrinking fast. Zak Brown isn't hiding from this. In a recent interview, he said it's not about if a clash happens, it's about when. He even downplayed how big that moment will be, saying it might just be a normal racing incident. But that kind of statement isn't confidence, it's preparation. He knows something is coming. Team principal Andrea Stella has been more cautious. With his words, he's praised both drivers for staying professional. He's also mentioned that McLaren has internal systems to manage disagreements. But anyone who's followed Formula One knows that no system can fully control what happens when two top drivers are locked in a title fight. Because this battle isn't only about lap times, it's about personality clashes. Norris is the face of the team. Outgoing, media-savvy, and emotionally expressive. He's admitted before that losses hit him hard and linger long after the race is over. That intensity makes him dangerous when he's focused, but volatile when frustrated. Pastry, in contrast, is quiet and calculated, calm on the outside but ruthless in the car. He doesn't show much, but that doesn't mean he's passive. He's sharp, precise, and not afraid to take chances. The contrast is striking. Norris's emotion versus Pastry's control. And that difference is what could light the fuse. We've already seen the tension surface at key moments. In Emilia, Pastry voiced concern about the strategy after being kept behind Norris. In Barcelona, during qualifying, both drivers pushed their cars to the absolute limit because they knew exactly what was on the line. These moments didn't explode into anything major, but they didn't go unnoticed either. And in Formula One, stress like this doesn't disappear. It sits there, quiet, waiting, until one small spark sets everything off. The next few races could be that spark. Silverstone is up next, Norris's home ground. If Pastry manages to beat him there in front of British fans, the emotional fallout could be huge. Then comes Spa, a track known for rewarding driver skill more than just car performance. If Norris hits back with a win there, it'll crank the pressure up on Pastry, who'll know the gap is closing fast. But this fight is bigger than just numbers on a scoreboard. Titles are won not only through speed, but through composure, communication, and managing the politics inside the team. And right now, McLaren's crew is being stretched thin. Engineers are trying to stay neutral. Strategy calls are under heavy scrutiny. Even pit crews are feeling the weight of every second. A slightly faster stop for one driver, an undercut call that benefits the other, all of it gets magnified. And that's when people start talking about favoritism. This is where the real danger hides. Once trust inside the team begins to crumble, it's nearly impossible to fix. We've seen it before. Red Bull had it when Mark Webber famously said, "Not bad for a number 2 driver." Ferrari had it when internal competition overshadowed results. The damage goes deep and can last longer than any one season. McLaren has come a long way to reach this position. Just a few years ago, they were struggling with engine issues and stuck in the midfield, fighting just to score points. It's taken countless hours, tough decisions, and relentless effort to climb back into the spotlight. And now, they've got 2 top-tier drivers and a car capable of winning. But success comes with its own risks. The danger now doesn't come from outside rivals. It comes from inside their own garage. That's what makes this situation so delicate. McLaren can't ask Norris to back off when he knows he has what it takes to win. They can't expect Pastry to step aside when he's leading the championship and proving his worth every weekend. These aren't drivers built to settle. They're wired to go for the win. And at some point, that instinct to push, to go all in, might tear the team apart. The question is, how will McLaren deal with it? Will they let both drivers continue fighting freely? Will they quietly shift their support to whoever's ahead in points? Or could they try to control the chaos before it gets out of hand, with team orders or garage separation? Back in 2016, Mercedes let the Hamilton-Rosberg battle play out on track. It made for unforgettable racing, but it also left scars. The team nearly broke under the pressure. Now McLaren might be headed down that same road. The outcome could depend on how the next few races unfold. If one of the drivers manages to break ahead, say by 20 or 30 points, McLaren might step in and offer quiet support. But if the gap stays small, if both drivers keep trading blows, then the storm will only grow. The paddock has seen how quickly things can spiral when tensions boil over. Zach Brown, the team boss, seems to understand what's coming. In a recent conversation, he admitted, it's not about if, it's about when. He doesn't expect a meltdown, but he knows something's going to give. Even Andrea, Stella, known for keeping a calm presence, has talked about internal systems being in place to manage situations. But the truth is, no amount of meetings or protocols can fully contain what happens when two elite competitors go after the same goal. This isn't just a fight for points, it's a battle of character. Norris, with his open emotions and fiery ambition, has waited years for a car like this. He stayed through the slow seasons, kept faith, and now that he's in the hunt, he's not going to play it safe. On the other hand, Piastri is different. Cold under pressure, quiet outside the car, but lethal inside it. He's not racing to prove a point. He's racing to win, and that's where the real story lies. One team, 2 stars, no clear lines. The harmony won't last forever, maybe not even until the end of the season. A mistake in the pit, a misjudged overtake, a team radio message taken the wrong way. It only takes one incident to break the balance. The next races will shape the outcome. Silverstone could tilt the mood completely. Spa could pile on more stress. And if it stays close heading into the final rounds, then McLaren will be forced to decide, protect the team or let the drivers settle it themselves. One thing is clear. History shows us that when two teammates go after the same crown, it rarely ends without fallout. Maybe this time will be different. Or maybe McLaren is on the edge of a story that's been told before, with new faces but the same ending. What happens next isn't just about racing. It's about how much a team can risk, how much it can hold together, and what it's willing to sacrifice to chase greatness.